So with this homework project, I set out to create a tool to help me configure speakers to try to configure a proper stereo field. So if you're listening to some music that does some interesting things with the stereo field, so like panning between speakers or just taking advantage of the three-dimensional things you can do with audio. It matters where your speakers are placed. So, and you want them to be equidistant from each other and from where you're listening. So I set up this kind of access point to be, if I were listening from this point, and they were this far away, this distance between these two center spheres is a scalar that I use to determine the distance. Where would I want to put those speakers? So the idea would be that I could use this and put those speakers in those positions. So there's that distance scale, and then I also have this multiplier that sometimes it takes a little while to track all three sometimes. But once I do this one, I'll be able to rotate and move them farther away. So it's just a multiplier for that scalar. So it's interacting with that value. Come on. Okay, so say I want to go a little farther. And what's nice, so the scaling things are just tracked, but this axis target is extended. So it uses extended tracking. So I can move away from it and move closer to the right or the left speaker if I want to do something like hear what it sounds like in each case. So I've got this play pause target then, which if I can activate when I wave over it, it will play or pause just a drum loop that I have from each speaker. That's probably not going to be a wave because, okay. Yeah, like I said, gets a little, okay, and then that went away. It gets a little tough with multiple targets for my device, but it is nice. And I'll walk around the simulation so you can hear the spatialization at work. I want them to be a little farther away from each other. But this might just be what we're working with. So, yeah. You might need headphones to really hear this difference. Kind of on the right there, on the left. So this lets you feel like what it would be like to be at each point of the, at each 3D point in this space. So, and lets you hear what the audio would sound like. The tracking is a little jittery, but it is pretty stable for this. So I think this is a pretty cool part. It's taking advantage of Unity's spatial audio stuff. But yeah, I think it's a pretty useful tool.